Pranam everyone. Welcome to Ncf Fs 2022 sessions. In today's session, we'll be knowing about section 1.2, that is the development of early childhood care and education in India and the world. So let's start with section 1.2.1, Enlightened Indian Perspectives. The importance of ECCE for supporting children's all-round development has been integral to Indian traditions throughout our long history. The early years of a child's life have been deeply valued across the diverse cultural landscape of India. India possesses a rich range of traditions and practices for stimulating all-round development, including developing values and social capacities in young children. Such traditional childcare took place within joint families and the community. Children were surrounded by caring adults and peers. The Indian vision of education has been broad and deep, including the idea that education must foster both inner and external development. Learning about the external world should be in consonance with learning about one's inner reality and self. This is also an eminently practical perspective, developing good health and socio-emotional skills and developing the ability to think and make good and rational choices and decisions in the world must occur in an integrated and holistic manner. Learning is not merely gathering information, but is the development of self, of our relationships with others, being able to discriminate between different forms of knowledge and being able to fruitfully apply what is learned for the benefit of the individual and of society. Now let's know about the Panchakosh Vikas, which is the five-fold development. The child is a whole being with Panchakoshas or five shits. The layers are Annamay Kosh, that is the physical layer, Pranamay Kosh, that is life force energy layer, Manomay Kosh, that is the mind layer, Vijnanamay Kosh, that is the intellectual layer, and Anandamay Kosh, that is the inner self. Each layer exhibits certain distinct characteristics. The holistic development of a child takes into account the nurturing and nourishment of these five layers. Specific types of practices are designed to enable the development of each of these koshas. However, the practices are designed keeping in mind that the koshas are interconnected, and so activities that focus primarily on one would also contribute to the development of the others. For example, the physical dimensions are developed through a focus on a balanced diet, traditional games, and adequate exercise, as well as yoga asanas at the appropriate ages, which build both gross and fine motor skills. Learning to breathe in a way that provides necessary oxygen for the entire body is important. It trains the voice and provides direction for increased self-awareness. A wide variety of stories, songs, lullabies, poems, prayer enable children to not only develop a love for their cultural context, but also provide value-based insights. This contributes to language development, beginning with listening or shravan, as well as the ability to focus and concentrate. The senses, indriyas, are to be sharpened to be able to experience the world around in all its beauty and wonder. Seva integrated into everyday life enables the experience of joy of relationships along with being a part of and doing good for one's community. The Panchkosha concept and imagination also maps into the different domains of development envisaged in ECCE, which are the basis of the curricular goals as discussed in the next chapter. So, let's talk about physical development, that is Sharirik Vikas. So, 8 specific balanced physical development, physical fitness, flexibility, strength and endurance, development of senses, nutrition, hygiene, personal health, expansion of physical abilities, building body and habits, keeping in mind 100 years of healthy living in a human being. All these should be taken care of during ECCE. Development of life energy, that is pranic vikas, balance and retention of energy, positive energy and enthusiasm, smooth functioning of all major systems, that is digestive, respiratory, circulatory, and nervous systems, by activation of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Emotional mental development, that is manasik vikas, concentration, peace, will and willpower, courage, handling negative emotions, developing virtues, the will to attach and detach from work, people and situations, happiness, visual and performing arts, culture and literature. Intellectual development, observation, experimentation, analytical ability, abstract and divergent thinking, synthesis, logical reasoning, linguistic skills, imagination, creativity, power of discrimination, generalization, and abstraction. Spiritual development, that is chatsik vikas, happiness, love and compassion, spontaneity, freedom, aesthetic sense, the journey of turning the awareness inwards. Panchkosha is an ancient explication of the importance of the body-mind complex in human experience and understanding. This non-dichotomous approach to human development gives clear pathways and direction towards a more holistic education. Range of insights. The Gurukul system of education, one of the oldest in the world, not only fostered holistic development, but also emphasized the importance of interrelationship between teacher and student, and in learning and growth. The ideal environment of learning is that which enables the desire to learn and provides opportunities to apply this knowledge. It is learning that provides the opportunity for exploration and examination of the inner self. The ancient Indian emphasis on smriti, that is memory, is critical to the overall development of a human being. It has often been misunderstood as an emphasis on rote learning, which in principle and when practiced with fidelity it was not. Current cognitive science research indicates that smriti, both working memory and long-term memory, plays an important role in cognition and comprehension. Insufficient emphasis on memory often results in inadequate outcomes in the classroom. Using memory for learning in the classroom encompass a variety of activities: deliberate and regular practice, deep processing, generating cues, making connections, and forming associations. This is reflected in the goals and pedagogical approaches of this NCF. This is relevant across all the years of school education, especially in the preparatory, middle, and secondary stages. In most Indian traditions, children are rarely seen as blank slates even as infants. They are considered to possess certain dispositions which influence the child's relationship with the world. The child in these traditions is seen both as a social being and a unique person who is influenced by the context as well as by one's own choices. Learning should help the child prepare for action and its consequences. The development of the personality becomes an important aspect of the way education is understood from a cultural standpoint. Since the Vedic era, the ancient Indian holistic natural medical system of Ayurveda has also been a guide to early childcare practices, with one of its 8 branches dedicated to the care of children. The approach to knowledge and understanding of childcare in Ayurvedic texts was holistic. The biological, psychological, sociological, and cultural approaches were seen as mutually inclusive. In the contemporary practice of Ayurveda, Kumarabhritya, the first section of the Kashyap Samhita, is often consulted for the practice of pediatrics, gynecology, and obstetrics. It is reported to have been written in the 6th century BCE. Ayurvedic texts speak extensively of child development. Illustratively, an environment that is suffused with fresh air, greenery, and ample sunlight promotes the overall well-being of a child. Vacha, a rejuvenating herb, bitter in taste, and used in the dried form has positive effects on the nervous system of a child. Vach in Sanskrit means speaking clearly. This herb stimulates intelligence and expression. Taking vacha with honey every day helps improve speech, that is, memory, diction, and tonal quality. Operationally, the Vedas view both mother and child as a symbiotic unit and emphasize SAMS or SAMS, CARS, sanskars or rites of passage, along with prescribed developmental approaches and childcare practices. Based on the age of the child, these sanskaras sequence the optimal physical and psychological progress in each phase of the life cycle of the child, marked by distinct developmental milestones. For example, Annaprashan, the first feeding of solid food to the baby, usually in the 6th month after birth, and Vidyarambha or Aksharabhyas, ceremonially introducing the child to the alphabets, are sanskars related to the development of a child and performed within the first 8 years of life. These sanskars are a means for the child to begin to engage in the pursuit of the 4 purusharths in the journey of life, that is, the pursuit of dharma, arth, karma, and moksha. Similar ideas and practices pervade traditions across the country, across large cultural regions. Example, tracing back to the Sangam age and beyond in and around Tamil Nadu, in the Naga and Mizo traditions, and the local traditions in the lower Himalayas. Evidence of this multicultural lineage of childcare, which was primarily home and family based and passed on from one generation to the next, is manifested in the rich repertoire of infant and child games and lullabies, children's folk stories, rhymes and riddles, folk toys, and messages for infants, which have been an integral part of childhoods in India. The close correspondence of the sanskar stages with modern scientific thought and knowledge regarding childcare and development is remarkable. One example is the Annaprashan or weaning at 6 months, which is completely synchronous with the current emphasis on exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. Traditional folk toys such as spinning tops, flutes, and pouring earthenware vessels were used to demonstrate basic scientific principles to the child in play mode. Infant games were largely what we may consider sensory motor in nature, in consonance with the Piagetian developmental stages, and the rhymes, riddles, and stories which children enjoy served to immerse them in a rich language environment. While some of these practices are still visible in extended families, the changes in family structures and the trend towards nuclear families has resulted in these practices getting diluted. To ensure effectiveness, local relevance, and to keep alive the rich range of India's diverse and vibrant ECCE traditions developed over millennia, these must also be appropriately incorporated in the curricular and pedagogical framework of ECCE. This would enable a sense of contextual relevance, enjoyment, excitement, local culture, and a sense of identity and community. Moreover, the traditional roles of families in raising, nurturing, and educating children also must be strongly supported and integrated within the curriculum framework for ECCE. I hope you understood it well. So it's time to say bye bye now, and we'll meet again with Pranam.